Antes de assistir, deixe seu like, inscreva-se no canal e ative o sino para receber os nossos vídeos. Muito obrigado.
Go after the team. You've got to relish it and you've got to love it. These are semi-finals. There has to be a special tingle tonight for the players. They go out there proud to take it to the opposition. They can, you know, we have Costa sitting on the bench perhaps tonight, a pantomime figure. You've got to make sure that, you know, you do the job here tonight because the bigger weapons are coming back for the second leg. So Arsenal got to take this game to them tonight.
Well, you're right. He is on the bench this evening, which I suppose in some ways is kind of good news for the Arsenal defence. But let's get some more news on the Arsenal team this evening. Lindsay's with Arsene Wenger. Let's get the latest.
Looking at your team, can you tell us why you've decided to go with David Ospina in goal ahead of Cech and whether that was a tough decision?
Every decision is tough. I believe that Peter Cech just comes back from injury. I don't feel he's completely recovered from it. You know, he takes a lot on his chin because he suffers still a little bit, and he's available. But I think that Ospina is a bit just has played the whole competition and has done really well recently as well. It's a difficult decision.
And given Atletico Madrid's defensive record at home, Aaron Ramsey, Alexander Lacazette being in great goal-scoring form, how important is it that they keep that up tonight?
Ideally, honestly, I don't mind who scores, as long as we score. The target is just to score and not to concede, because the weight of the away goal is huge. So for us, ideally, is to score without conceding. So you want everybody to contribute to defend well. What has not been our strongest point this season, so we have to use our strengths and maybe everybody to push a bit harder as well to do work that he usually doesn't like to do.
Okay, I think we'll talk about the goalkeeper situation in just a couple of moments, but first your reaction to the Arsenal team, Jermaine, the decisions that Wenger's gone with. What do you think of that lineup tonight?
Expected, really. There's no huge surprises in there for me, personally. I know we'll probably have a brief chat about the Petr Cech and Ospina situation, but even with that, I think it's a good side. I think it's strong. I think it's one that can attack. It's always defensively with this side that you worry. They've conceded chance after chance in this competition, and that's where they're going to get really tested this evening. Well, Robert, you're going to be up there in the commentary box commentating on a team that has been in 2 Champions League finals in the last 4 seasons. They're seasoned pros when it comes to European competition, and you just look down, not just the starting 11, but you look at the strength on the bench as well, and that is a formidable Atletico team that doesn't concede many and scores plenty.
Yeah, the interesting thing is he's gone with Kevin Gamero up front. You know, obviously Costa is fit enough to take his place on the bench, and you know, as Martin has alluded to, they've got players there who can come on and have a real impact. Costa, what's he got? 3 goals in 6 games against Arsenal in his time, you know, in previous clubs. But you just look at the quality there in that squad.
Not bad, is it?
Is fantastic.
Right, talking about the bench, I want to get the thoughts from all 3 of you on this. You've got a goalkeeper in Petr Cech who's won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League, he's seen as the #1 here at Arsenal. Yet once again, in this competition, in a cup competition, David Ospina gets the nod. Champions League football rests on the next 3 games. Is that the right call from Arsene Wenger?
It's a massive call. It's one Wenger's called a couple of times before. He's played in cup finals, hasn't he? Petr Cech's had to sit and watch. I think he showed a great deal of dignity. It seems in that interview that Wenger is almost, I wouldn't say given up on the player, but he feels that he's not in the right mental state to play in this game. Maybe it's the impact of his decision. Maybe that he feels that, you know, they lost against Newcastle, his last performance. He made a couple of mistakes against Moscow as well, which you could say is comparable. He came into the team because Ospina was injured, and you know there he's put that into the path of the oncoming striker. Maybe he could have parried that round the goal, and certainly the second one, this one he makes a bit of a hash of this. But okay, it's a shot from distance. It moves a little bit, but look, he puts it again into the path, and maybe Wenger feels that he's maybe just gone past his best, and Ospina is a better bet tonight.
Because he sort of mentioned form and fitness in the same answer, didn't he, really? It's hard to know what this decision is based on.
I think he was talking maybe about a bit of criticism maybe that Petr Cech has come under as well. Look, I mean, he's had a phenomenal career, but as a manager, I'm sure you just have to pick who you think is best equipped for the job, and you kind of get that feeling through watching training, week in, week out, who seems the safer hands. I don't think it's that huge a decision. I think if you speak to a lot of Arsenal fans, you know, whether it was Ospina or Cech in goal, I don't think they've been that filled with confidence from either of them this season. So it's not a huge decision as far as I'm concerned.
Diego Costa on the bench, sigh of relief in the Arsenal dressing room?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way he rattles defenders, the way he gets about them, the way he doesn't give them any time whatsoever. You know, Koscielny and Mustafi, when they've seen that team sheet, the way they've defended at times this season, and the Arsenal back four in a hole, I think they'd be absolutely delighted. You know, because of his physical presence, because the way he leads the line. You know, and as Martin will say, you know, would you rather play against Kevin Gamero or Diego Costa?
I'm disappointed Gabriel is not at the club. That's not a decision I think is a great one. I think he would have been here. He would have been up for the Costa fight.
That's annoyed you since it happened for the last year. You've been going on about
exactly, because maybe he had the fighting qualities necessary. You know, and he's not going to be around to challenge him. But OK, he's not playing tonight. But Costa is quite remarkable. He gets his tackling first. He's the sort of reverse of...
And scores against Arsenal as well.
Does.
He had a good record.
He does. He's got good pace. He's got everything there is. He's a lion of a striker. And he can finish as well. And he's motivated to score against Arsenal.
You know what, though? Don't just think just because he's not involved, they're not going to be scoring plenty of goals. The Griezmann and Gamero, they are so threatening up front. Plenty of pace.
It's a different type of threat. It's more elusive, especially with Griezmann. You almost don't, he gets himself into areas where he's difficult to pick up and you don't really see him coming. But yeah, Costa's definitely in your face, so they ain't got to deal with that.
OK, right. It's a strange one tonight, really. This is such a huge game for Arsenal. With the Premier League gone, this is the biggest game of their season, yet there is so much talk about something that's got nothing to do with the result on the pitch and everything to do with the future of the football club. So ahead of the game, we've been speaking to Arsenal fans about their thoughts on an Arsene Wenger-less future here at the Emirates, and here's what they've been saying.
Well, I'm hoping that everyone gives a good atmosphere. Usually we're kind of quiet here, which is a bit disappointing for me, but it's a European game, you know. I'm hoping we win today, so I'm going to turn up the atmosphere. I know what I'm going to do today.
I hope everyone gets behind the team. I hope that, most importantly, the players. They've been playing not brilliant this season.
It depends on who takes the first goal. So if they score first, I know how everyone's going to be quiet and it's going to get a bit Wenger out and all that nonsense. But hopefully, if we score first 2 goals, you know, first half, we should be good.
So hearing it, everyone's quite happy with that. I am. I will say I'm quite happy that he's leaving, but I do appreciate what he's done for us. He put us on the map. We've seen some wonderful football. And thank you, Arsene Wenger.
But goodbye.
But goodbye.
I think they summed it up.
They did. They summed it up well, and it's a case, isn't it, of understanding. You know, have you every stage you're welcome at a football club? People looking now back at the Wenger years, wondering whether, you know, when they won the league, the FA Cup after 9 years without a trophy, and they beat Hull, was that the time to go? Was the time to go then after beating Chelsea last?
Was it? In reflection, has it been a bit too long?
Yeah, I think so. But all he's guilty of really is just showing that much love for the football club. He couldn't then emotionally detach himself from Arsenal Football Club, and that's a difficult thing to. He's entrenched now as an Arsenal man. It was difficult for him. It had to be almost taken out of his hands. And we understand. I don't know. Yesterday he was saying that he was pushed rather than he's leapt.
If you're a player in the Arsenal dressing room against West Ham, there was no fanfare. The stadium wasn't even full. Do you want it to feel special relating to Arsene Wenger's departure tonight, or do you just want it to be the Emirates jumping because this is a European semi-final?
You know what it's more about? From what I've seen in coming to the Emirates, the negative kind of vibe of the stadium is having an impact on performances. So as a midfield player, I want to feel like if I give the ball away, it's not a problem. You know, yes, I'm going to be keeping the ball, but every now and again I want to try something. And if it doesn't come off, I don't want to feel like I've got the weight of the whole of the Emirates on my shoulders. So next time I go, actually, I'm just going to play this nice, easy, safe one and not try things and not do things that Arsenal players have been doing here for years, creating opportunities. And I think when you get the love of a stadium and that passion, we're talking about a carnival atmosphere. It's a bit different. Just be passionate and support your team and get your players playing with confidence, and that will get you performances which will get you results in the end.
But we talk about unity and we talk about being in tandem, and you now, I think that's going to free up the channel of that link again between the fans and the players. And it has been difficult for young players coming here, you know, making their debuts, playing games when it's been a little bit hostile. Then people have stopped coming, which, you know, they're voting with their feet. So now there's a unity again, and I'd like to see people come to the game. Don't bother coming if you're not going to get behind the team. And surely now any thoughts of not being positive because the decision's been made must have disappeared, and there will be a unity here tonight.
Strong message. So it's a night for positivity. And talking about positivity, it's been 555 days since Santi Cazorla's pulled on an Arsenal shirt, and this was just in the warm-up. I know you guys were downstairs watching this. Look, he's not ready for a comeback yet, but just to see him out there, Robbie, kicking a ball after all the
cruise shit, whatever. You know, JJ's, you know, had to finish through injury, but for him to see him back on the pitch, you know, being involved, even just out there for him, is an amazing thing. And people don't understand what it takes to be in that treatment room, seeing your mates go out on that pitch, you know, in a semi-final of European competition. So fair play to him, and I hope he gets back to full fitness.
I think it's hurt the team as well, Robbie, that he's not been available.
Yeah,
and hurt Wenger a great deal, because he's been a great player when he's played, and I'd love to see him get back in there.
Yeah. You guys live to play football. I'll say it again, 555 days since he last did what he loves to do, which is play football for Arsenal. What this man loves to do, though, is win trophies. The fans don't think he's done it enough in recent years, and of course he's never managed to do it in European competition. He's made European finals, he's been so close to glory, but it's the one glaring gap on the Arsene Wenger CV. Can he finally do it this season? We'll talk Wenger in Europe after the break.
Anda de Ferrari, coisa igual nunca se viu. A bolsa dela da Chanel vale mais de 20 mil. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e nos finais de semana curte um funk na boate. O perfume dela é índio, mano, ela só porta grife, e as amiguinhas dela é só gata de elite. Camarote, área VIP, ela fica à vontade, manda descer a champanhe e faz festa de verdade. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e desfila de Ferrari. Ela é celebridade, ela adora uma night, ela só vive na vibe e desfila de Ferrari. Ela só anda de Ferrari, coisa igual nunca se viu. A bolsa dela da Chanel vale mais de 20 mil. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e nos finais de semana curte um funk na boate. O perfume dela é índio, mano, ela só porta grife, e as amiguinhas dela é só gata de elite. Camarote, área VIP, ela fica à vontade, manda descer a champanhe e faz festa de verdade. Ela é celebridade, tem jatinho, tem iate, e desfila de Ferrari. Ela é celebridade, ela adora uma night, ela só vive na vibe e desfila de Ferrari.